cooking or eating chicken meat is a normal thing to do. But what happens when all that is reversed? Chickens eat humans. Hello guys, welcome back to the Tell Me Gaming channel, and welcome to the chicken feet story. A short horror game titled Chicken Feet by Dylan Bassett, which was released on October 25, 2022, for PC, is a horror game that confronts a situation of being chased by a chicken. Yes, chased by a chicken indeed. It's nothing scary at all, if only the chickens chasing us were not ferocious and gigantic size. Being chased by a giant animal is a nightmare. Therefore, let's understand the story of the chicken feet deeper through the presented plot. The main character, who doesn't have a name, we will refer to as Kyle, is an intern at a laboratory called Goober Research, world's most famous center for genetic engineering research. On the first day of his internship, he is guided by a person with the assumed name of Sergeant Corey via radio, where his duties are as to catch a giant chicken creature that just escaped and has eaten lots of people. Very nice first day of the internship. Kyle doesn't need to worry, because Corey believes they will make a good team, and he already has a tracking device too, so Corey can keep track of him. Arriving at the lobby area, Kyle has no other option besides following Corey's orders, which is to open the ventilation area using a screwdriver and down the area that leads to the lower level, where the giant chicken creature resides. From a distance, he saw the shadow of a giant chicken meant, and only momentarily approached it, a chicken goes right away. This condition forces Kyle to be careful, and from this point forward, while settling, he will lure the chicken from one area to another according to Corey's instructions. If he is caught, the game will be over. Now, to open the first exit area, Kyle have to find and pull 3 levers first, and in the middle of his efforts to find the lever, he found a voice recording about a series of research processes being carried out by a ruthless scientist named Eric, on a creature he names as Sebastian. Eric has genetically modified Sebastian and locked him in a cell, letting Sebastian grow up in a cell without any friends and no freedom at all. He also hired a teacher to teach lessons to Sebastian, and all of it was done for the sake of research continuity. When pulling one of the levers, a chicken creature suddenly broke down the door and chased Kyle. Even so, in the end, Kyle succeeded, pulled 3 levers and exited the first area, and headed for the barn area. See the golden statue of the chicken that hanging on the wall. Kyle knew the name of the chicken creature that kept chasing him was Cooper. While the second voice recording found in the area contained a report by Mrs. Lawrence, a teacher who was paid by Eric to give Sebastian a proper education. Mrs. Lawrence gives lessons every week, and thanks to the teaching she gave, Sebastian progressed in terms of reading, writing, and speaking. But one thing that made Mrs. Lawrence worried is the scar on Sebastian's body. Mrs. Lawrence wants to ask about this to Sebastian, if only he was brave enough to meddle in laboratory matters. After hearing this voice recorder, Kyle continued on to the barn, where he was required to looking for a way to get to the blue light that is at the top of a barn. By fixing the broken elevator system, he reaches the top floor and follows the blue light that leads to the exit. Unlucky. Just a moment set foot outside barn area, Cooper smashes the door behind him and chased him quickly, force Kyle to jump down from a great height.
You aren't who I thought you were. But that doesn't mean you're different.
Some moments later, in a state semi-conscious, Kyle comes face to face with Cooper. That's surprising, he can speak like a human. Cooper warns Kyle not to bother him anymore. After explaining how he only kills anyone who tries to harm him, Cooper gives Kyle a second chance to leave the laboratory through the white door that has been provided. Immediately, without thinking further, Kyle immediately opened the white door that was in front of him, but unexpectedly, it turned into a destroyer machine that could have crushed his body.
Promise me that you'll leave.
Whoa, hey, what are you doing?
Kyle reflexively dodged, and knew that Cooper just lied to him. Now his determination to catch Cooper is getting bigger. Apart from Corey forbidding him to play the sound recording in that place, Kyle keep doing it. He finds Eric's voice recording, which reveals a secret project called the Rebirth Project, where through this project, Eric wants to play God by created humans. He created a creature named Sebastian by doing various modifications to human genetics, and by the time Sebastian reaches the age of 20, that creature can read, write, and communicate like humans in general. A huge success for Eric. Because it is still not considered perfect enough, the Rebirth Project will continue to be developed for the next 5 years, no matter what other people say. Kyle goes through area after area that requires him to use several elevators, before then faced with a human-like creature on the other side of window. This creature is Sebastian, subject in the rebirth experiment that was done by Eric. Sebastian admitted that he had followed Kyle's journey from the start by hearing the sound of the radio, and he recognized the voice of the person who kept guiding Kyle as Eric's voice, indicating that Corey is actually Eric in disguise. For more, Sebastian asked Kyle to be careful with Eric, because Eric is the one who creates scary places like this, and he is evil scientist who often makes his test subjects miserable. So far, Kyle has only been used by Eric so he can catch Cooper, and after all of this is over, Sebastian believes Eric will immediately kill Kyle because he is judged to have saw too many secrets. For that, now Sebastian wants to work with Kyle. He asked Kyle to obey Eric's wishes and lure him down. After that, Sebastian will take care of the rest.
I've got a plan. I'll save us. You just need to lure him down here. Just follow his instructions. I'll save you.
Looking at the gas pipes that filled the area where Kyle was currently, Eric had an idea. He asked Kyle to pump sleeping gas into all the gas pipes and release it there. That way, Cooper will fall into a deep sleep without getting hurt in the slightest, and so will Kyle. Eric also promised to wake Kyle up. According to Sebastian's plan, Kyle still complied Eric's instructions, even though he actually knew that the instructions would be very dangerous for him. When looking for a device to pump sleep gas, Kyle finds a voice recording of complaints worker about Eric's annoying attitude. Eric didn't just run one experiment, but still plans to do other experiments. This is proven from how he asked his men to find 98 pigs, no more or less. If the pigs he brought were not pure enough, he would ask the pigs to be killed immediately. Besides that, Eric had submitted a request to make type 16 mouse embryo. The worker also talking about Sebastian that being unaffected by the sleeping gas, making Eric quite annoyed and asking his workers to find him something stronger than sleeping gas. However, in the end, Kyle succeeded pumped sleeping gas and released it in that area.
Yes, thank you. You have no idea how much this means for the lab.
Thank you. I never actually learned your name. Not that I needed to, or even wanted to. You did well as an intern, and I'm sorry it had to end this way. Your sacrifices in the name of science. What?
Eric.
How did you...
It's over, Eric. It's over.
Please, don't. Please!
Luckily, before being killed at the hands of Eric, Sebastian kept his promise. He came to kill Eric, and continued by killing Cooper, to end Cooper's misery so far. Sebastian then wakes up Kyle, explains everything that happened, and ends his own suffering.
I am human.
The chicken feet game ends quite tragically. Through all the footage scattered in several areas, the story presented by this game is actually quite clear. But to clarify even more, let's put them together in the explanation segment. It's clear that the mastermind behind the destruction that occurred at Goober Laboratories is Eric, a mad scientist as well as a laboratory founder who is very obsessed with playing God. Under his charge, Goober Laboratories has carried out various kinds of very dangerous secret experiments. Even according to the confession of one of the workers, Eric often ordered his men to bring him various types of animals in a certain amount to be used as experimental subjects. If he feel it doesn't fit, or what is commonly called, not pure enough by Eric, those animals will be killed in place. That's why the machines that are used to run experiments are always filled with blood, requiring some night shift employees to clean up the blood before going home. No one dares to go against Eric, because if they against him, or just make a small mistake, Eric would instantly kill him. Experiment after experiment continues, and among all the experiments that Eric has done, there are two that are quite close to success, namely Cooper and Sebastian. Cooper is a giant chicken creature who is the main enemy in the game, Chicken Feet. A man-eating chicken. Based on Sebastian's words at the end, Cooper is always filled with pain and anger. This anger arose as a result of the torture that was done by Eric throughout the experiment, but unfortunately, there is no detailed explanation regarding the process of Cooper's creation and how he can speak like a human being. Meanwhile, on the other hand, Sebastian is an experimental project that Eric is most proud of. The project is called Rebirth, purposing to create human, and by modifying genetics human, coupled with good teaching from a teacher named Mrs. Lawrence, Eric was able to create a humanoid figure that can read, write, and speak like a human being. Eric is very proud of his success and wants to make it perfect Project Rebirth for the next 5 years. He never cared about Sebastian, who had been tormented for tens of years. Since he was child, Sebastian was locked in a narrow cell and tortured all over, making his whole body covered with scars. Until finally, the glory of Goober Laboratories started to fall. Cooper managed to escape, and in anger he killed every scientist who was there and freed Sebastian from his cell, instantly destroying the entire laboratory. Unlike Cooper, who is filled with hatred for humans, Sebastian, who had met a kind teacher named Mrs. Lawrence, knows that not all humans are bad. For that, instead of killing all the scientists, he only targeted Eric. Then, where is Eric? Realizing all this chaos, he immediately ran away and kept a secret for what was happening from the outside world. In order to continue the experiment, Eric hires an apprentice, none other than Kyle, to catch the deadly Cooper. Don't know what Kyle was thinking. Listen, this ridiculously unreasonable job, he accepted anyway. Requires Kyle to following Eric's instructions in exploring the laboratory area to catch Cooper. Eric plans to kill Kyle after using him, but without him knowing, Sebastian already knows about this evil plan. For this reason, before Kyle finished his work, Sebastian informed of Eric's evil plan and made a plan to fight back. The plan is going well. Sebastian's success to kill Eric, who was about to shoot Kyle. And to end Cooper's misery, he also killed Cooper, who was fall asleep as a side effect of the sleeping gas. After making sure that Kyle was okay, Sebastian ended his own life, unable to endure the suffering of being a human that he has experienced so far. Therefore, only Kyle was left in this story. That's all the explanation of the story of the game Chicken Feet. The story is quite simple but interesting. Please give your opinion in the comments column below, and give us a like if you like our contents, and don't forget to subscribe this channel because there will always be new games that we will discuss in the future. Thank you for watching. Tell Me Gaming here, and see you in the next video.